がここにいるうちの本物のスクールスポーツのために行こうぜベイビーバンこの国は気をつけて、現実になることがありますからね。
Alright, so we're going to continue the long-standing tradition of covering Japanese boxing here on True School Sports. True School Sports, the #1 source for Japanese boxing in America, for an American. Arigato gozaimasu. Thank you to everybody for tuning in. And ayete yokata. Nice to see everybody here around the world tuning in, showing love, showing respect, showing that passion for the sport of boxing. Now listen, this was a storyline, I should say, that was presented to the boxing world about a week or so ago. And, you know, right now as I'm shooting this video, it's June 6th, 9:27 p.m. Japan time. So we're about a day and a half away from Junto Nakatani attempting to unify the bantamweight titles with Ryosuke Nishida, who's the IBF champion, WBC and IBF unification fight. Big fight for the division, big fight for Japan, big fight for Japanese boxing. Just a big fight, right? He has to win this fight. It's very important that he wins, and you can't overlook Nishida. Nishida is a very skilled, high-level operator, but Junto is the favorite. He's looked at to be the best bantamweight in the world, and he has to prove it, but that's the consensus going in, that as good as Nishida is, and as crafty as he may be, that Junto Nakatani should show superior skills and superior strength and just be the superior fighter on the night. So if he handles his business, of course, funny enough, Rudy Hernandez, the great trainer, the esteemed trainer, Rudy Hernandez, he said something very interesting about Junto Nakatani potentially skipping a move to super bantamweight, which is currently where the face of Japanese boxing resides at, Naoya the Monster Inoue, and just going outright to featherweight, which, by the way, I've told you guys for a long time that Junto Nakatani is more than big enough to fight at featherweight, and I think he'll be a featherweight. So there's Rudy Hernandez, his own coach, agreeing with me, and I don't even know Rudy, so great minds think alike. But here's what Rudy said in regards to Espinosa, about fighting Rafael Espinoza. He said that Junto Nakatani and the team, if the fight was ever offered to him, that they would be more than ready, willing, and able to take a fight and pursue a challenge against the WBO champion, Rafael Espinoza, who many regard as the best featherweight in the world today. So here's what he said, word for word, verbatim. He stated the following, and I quote, "If we're not going to get Inouye, we can go to Espinoza. If they offer us that fight, we will take it in a heartbeat, and Inouye can come fight us at featherweight for the title. There is a reason that Inouye is considered the #1 fighter in the world, depending on who you ask. I consider him the best in the world because he's constantly fighting and moving up in weight. It's his time right now. Are there flaws? Yes. Muhammad Ali got dropped. Sugar Ray Robinson got dropped. All these great fighters who were great at one time got dropped, but they got up and did what champions do. They get up, survive, fight hard, and win. Inoue and Nakatani are on the same freeway, traveling in different lanes. If our roads cross, they cross. We'll be ready, but nothing else matters unless we're successful on June 8th against Nishida." He obviously said that he would rather fight Inoue, but look, that's what it is. So let's unpack this for a second. Let's try to make sense of a potential Junto Nakatani Rafael Espinoza fight, because Rafael Espinoza is regarded by many people in the world to be the best featherweight in the world today. You know, with this combination of size, length, reach, volume punching, toughness, durability, bone density, which I think is his most dangerous attribute. His how dense his bones are. He don't got to land as much on opponents as opponents do on him. He closes your eyeballs. He breaks your orbital bone. That's the kind of fighter he is, right? So when I think of the potential for a Junto Espinoza fight, that's a great fight. I mean, Junto Nakatani is a fighter that has mastered the straight left hand. He's gotten really polished at fighting from the outside, out of that southpaw stance. And Junto Nakatani is also equally a really good volume puncher. He's got the regimented, disciplined Japanese style, but then he also has some of the Mexican volume punching in him, and that's the Rudy Hernandez influence. That's the byproduct of training in Southern California gyms over the years, and I'm pretty sure getting a lot of Mexican sparring and Mexican American sparring where they fight like that. So I think Junto could, obviously, I think that's a great fight. I think Junto is good enough to go up and beat Espinoza. I think defensively he's going to have to be very sound, because Espinoza has very dense bones and could close his eyeballs shut. Espinoza seems to be consciously working on boxing taller. And I think if Espinoza learns how to become, if he becomes anything close to an elite fighter on the outside, he becomes like another level harder to beat at featherweight. And that's for anybody. That's for Junto. That's for Inoue. That's for, Angelo Leo. And I'm part of the team. I'm telling you guys that Junto Nakatani he's not even at featherweight, and he got the potential to be the best featherweight in the world. That's how good he is, right? So I would love to see Junto come to featherweight. You guys know that I'm a big advocate for the featherweight division. I love everything that's going on in the Peso Pluma division. And I want to see it continue to grow and do well, because if Junto Nakatani does come to featherweight, and let's say he does somehow pick off the title and beat Rafael Espinoza, well, then now that's going to force Inoue to come to featherweight. I think two things will force Inoue to come to featherweight. Either A, Espinoza Junto comes to featherweight and he beats one of the champions, and they're targeting Espinoza for a belt, or Nishida upsets Nakatani, and now that fight goes up in smokes, and now Inoue will explore the tougher challenges at featherweight. But I'd rather it be the first rather than the latter. I'd rather see Junto win, go to featherweight, make the weight class just be red hot. I want the challenge of, selfishly being part of Team Leo. I'd love to see us fight, Inoue or Junto or Espinoza. And doing my part to try to help Angelo beat those guys, because those are all great fighters, and you want to test yourself against the best. But I admire the ambition from Rudy Hernandez. I admire him thinking outside the box, because that's a great fight for boxing, and that is a great way to force Inouye's hand to come to featherweight and fight you in a weight class that's more advantageous for your fighter, because really and truthfully, Inoue fights Junto at super bantamweight, 122 pounds. That's a more advantage for Inoue. If they go to featherweight, now Junto can retain more of his strength, have more of that weight on his frame, make Inoue maybe have to lose a little bit of speed coming up in weight, and now it's an even more winnable fight for Junto. Not that he needs to do that, because he's already a great fighter. He could beat Inoue at 122, but at that top level, when you're fighting these great fighters like Inoue, the monster who's been great for so long, you're always looking to see where you can get an advantage, and I think that's a very smart strategic move if he can pull it off. But there's a lot of ifs. Like, they got to beat Nishida this weekend. Junto has to, go to featherweight, beat Rafael Espinoza. You're gonna take some damage, because Espinoza ain't no punk. And Espinoza, he's the kind of fighter that you could win the fight and get your orbital bone broken in a win, and still not be the same even if you win. So that's the kind of challenge up against. Espinoza could, if Espinoza beats Junto, now we're talking about Espinoza potentially being on the pound-for-pound list. So it would enhance Rafael Espinoza as well. I think Espinoza versus Junto is probably one of the most exciting matchups that could be made in boxing, potentially. But, we'll see how it goes. But those are my thoughts on the matter. We'll see how it goes. We'll see what happens in the coming, days, weeks, and months, and definitely be covering this as it progresses. So, yeah, let me know what you guys think. What kind of chance you give Junto Nakatani versus Rafael Espinoza? Who do you favor and why? Leave your comments down below. Make sure you guys take the time to subscribe, and like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Dania. So until next time, take care, guys. Thank you for watching another video on the untouchable True School Sports Empire. I'm in the fight capital of the world, Las Vegas, Nevada, and we got a monster in town. For more great boxing content from America to Japan and everywhere else in between, make sure you guys subscribe, stay tuned, and keep it locked.